Hello Flosstube, this is Nicole and this is going to be my Flosstube and Quilting segment here on my channel. I know you guys are used to card making here. That's not going to change. I just thought it would be fun to, I'm hoping to weekly show up and kind of just share my quilting and cross stitch progress. I share that a lot, or I mention it, I should say, a lot. And I have not really had a chance to share a lot of that here. And so I enjoy watching Flosstube videos and quilting progress videos on YouTube. And so I thought it would be really fun to share that here with you guys and show you what I'm up to, what I work on the weekends. I tend to stick to card making mostly during the week. Every once in a while I do card making on the weekends. But in the evenings I cross stitch. It's relaxing. I love it. I've picked it back up after probably many years of not cross stitching. About, I want to say 5 years ago, I picked up and completed a couple of things and never really finished them. But when I was young, early in my 20s, I cross stitched quite a bit. And when I had little ones, and then it just kind of, I put it away and I didn't get it back out for many years. And then I finished a couple things, like I said, and then about, I want to say a year to a year and a half ago, I picked it back up in a huge way, and I have been addicted ever since. I started quilting probably about 10 to 12 years ago. Again, there was a little area or time period in there where I didn't, but I have actually been quilting quite a lot in the last couple of years, and I wanted to share that progress with you guys. For anyone who loves cross stitch and doesn't quilt or doesn't want to see both, I am going to put timestamps down below. I will try to link to things. If you have questions, please leave them. I would love to talk and share with you. I have been sharing Stitch May-nia on Instagram, just kind of trying to keep track of that throughout the month. I didn't go full out new project every day or anything like that. I kept it manageable for me, which was a good thing. I unexpectedly had surgery for my knee this last week. I figured it was coming. I didn't expect to go in and see him and him say, "Hey, let's do it tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But I'm glad I did. It's needed to happen. My physical therapy had plateaued. If you already follow me here, which if you're watching this, you probably have followed kind of my journey there, completely random. I actually didn't have anything torn. I had injured my knee doing nothing even good. I got down on the floor to pick up the cap of my glue, went to get up, and my knee did not want to come with me. I do have a lot of arthritis in both knees. I have a lot of family history of arthritis, so that's a little bit of it. And I do think he tried to smooth some of that out. There's nothing they can do about it once it's there. But I had loose debris in my knee. Plus I got a Baker's cyst from when I did injure my knee, and it swelled and the fluid went out back behind. So they drained that, but I couldn't straighten my knee. So they fixed that. It's going really well. I've been to physical therapy. I go every day for 2 weeks, and so far so good. But this is going to be my channel, or not my channel, my series all about cross stitching and quilting. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be easy. If you're here for cards and paper crafting only, I hear you, and it's easy to click on by. This is going to be like a weekend type video. Like I said, I would really like to try to do this weekly because I do get quite a bit done. And for me, I think it'll be fun to look back and see my progress. And hopefully maybe it'll even inspire some of you to want to stitch something. So I kind of have a little outline. We'll see how it goes. Honestly, I wanted to film this last week and I had haul coming and I didn't get it. And so I put it off, and then my week turned into what it turned into. And I decided it's never going to be perfect. We're just going to go for it. And this also is not usually where I'm going to film. I actually got a new little desk. This is my craft room. This is where my fabric is. This is where my card making stuff is. And so I don't normally have my computer in here. It goes in another room, but I am building a new desk in there. I just got it, and the boys are putting it together for me, and we don't have it put together yet. So that's where we will normally probably film this. I do think I'm gonna, you can see my video camera for card making is mounted to my table. I took the studio lights down so it doesn't look quite so bad, but I do think I probably will flip to overhead for the quilt, just because I have them on design boards and things like that, and I think it'll be easier to share those that way. We'll see. We may change it up as we go along, but we're going to start with cross stitch. I'm going to share with you finishes and some works in progress. So we're going to start with that, and then I'm going to share my Stitch Mania and haul. So first thing, I do want to kind of, not all of these obviously were finished this week. Most of these actually have just been finished, I would like to say, in the last 8 months, maybe. Some of them I have posted like in my Instagram stories and things. The first thing, this is in a really, really old cross stitch. This is the one I finished. I think I even put the date. 2017 is when I finished this. I started this, I want to say in like 2000. I don't know. A long time ago, but I actually just finished it, and I kind of shared on Instagram, but I made it into a little pillow, a little patriotic pillow. I love this fabric. I got it last year. You're going to see a little bit more of this in a little bit when I get to my quilting, but I always find it frustrating that you can't find pillow forms, so I made my own. So if you guys are interested at all in seeing how I do this, because I'm going to show you a couple of other finishes that I think I'm going to turn into pillows. If you would like to see how I make a custom pillow insert, I could do a video on that because it's really, really easy. So I'm just going to pop this out, and I'll show you how I do a zipper back. Part of the reason I did a pillow insert is I really like a zipper back. So first I'm going to show you that. I didn't add anything decorative like rickrack or anything to my cross stitch. I did do a little fusible interfacing to kind of protect my stitches, and then I simply created this pillow back. When I do pillow backs for any kind of pillow finish, like for quilting pillow finish, I do this like hidden flap with a zipper. It's super easy. It's my go-to, and so that is what I did for that. And then I just created my own pillow form, and it's exactly the same size as my pillow, so, or the little pillowcase here. I like mine to be really full, and it worked really great. So if you're interested, let me know. If not, let me know that too. That's fine. I'm good. This just really, it was really fun to finish it. I've had this, like I said, stitched up for quite a few years now, and it's just been sitting, and I thought, you need to finish this. And so I'm really excited. I've been watching a lot of Stitching with the Housewives and their finishing and things, and I think my style is probably not the same, but I really do find inspiration from seeing how other people finish their cross stitch. It doesn't all have to go to the framers. There's going to be a couple of things I'm working on that definitely will, but anyway, so this was the that finish. I believe it's 8. Oh, I don't have the exact dimensions. I will put those in the notes down below. I did have a question I noticed. I can't remember where it's from now. I can't find it. It was Facebook or Instagram, but I literally can't find it. Where it came from. You guys, this is the oldest. I can't believe I found it. It's from a cross-country stitching magazine from 1991. I'm sure I bought this old when I bought it, like a back issue. I remember getting this years ago, and I can't show you the chart, but this was their finish, and it's what inspired mine, and the ruffle and everything. It was so cute. And so that's where this is from. I don't really know that I would need to keep this, so maybe I need to offer this as a giveaway if anyone else is interested. I honestly love this design, but it made me giggle. I first of all didn't think I still had this, and then when I did find it, in my tote underneath the stairs in the basement. I couldn't believe it. So 1991 cross-country stitching. That is where that awesome little chart is from. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about my other finishes over the last few months. Fat Quarter Shop has been a fantastic inspiration. Their YouTube channel is great, both stitching and quilting. This was Bats and Booze, and this is what I think I'm going to turn into a little Halloween pillow. I did finish this, not on the stitch along schedule, but I did finish it and I love it. It's just, I think it'll make a cute little pillow to stick in with my Halloween decorations. If you guys know me, you know I love Halloween. So this is what I was thinking I might do a little tutorial for. I believe, I can't even remember what kind of linen this is, but I will link to this because this was a free pattern. So if you're interested at all, they had a quilting and a cross stitch pattern. I did both. I did not use the kit. Well, I did use the kit for this, but I didn't use the quilting kit. I used my own fabric because I love fig tree fabric, and it was fun. This really was fun. I love it because it's a very quilty design, and I think it'll make a cute pillow. So that design is completely free. You can pick it up anytime. You can stitch it on any fabric you want. I do want to tell you about a fantastic thing that Fat Quarter Shop has. It's a cross stitch calculator. If you want to stitch yours in a different fabric, a different stitch count, and you want to see how big it'll be, how big you need to cut your fabric, all of that, it's amazing. I will link to that down below as well because it's an invaluable tool. Okay, next up, let me see. All the Trimmings was another stitch and quilt along that they did for Christmas. I only did the cross stitch and I did finish this. I do think I probably will make this, I thought it may be a pillow, but I can't decide. But I just think it's a cute little decorative piece. It was really easy, really fun to stitch. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. So we'll see. We'll get to that. But this was a free pattern as well, and I will link to that. And then this is a paid downloadable pattern. It was a stitch along, but now the whole chart is available. This is Autumn Beauty from Fat Quarter Shop, and I love it. I may get it framed. I haven't decided, but I really love it. Were different options for the word in the chart. I picked Autumn, and I will tell you I had an error over here. Like I stitched something. I want to say I think I came down too far with this, but because it didn't overlap anywhere, I didn't unpick, because by the time I realized I had like stitched this not quite in the right spot, can't find it, I had stitched so much I didn't want to unpick it all, and I don't think you can even tell. So I did want to mention that it's a little imperfect. That's okay. But I love, love, love this, and I will link to this below as well. Absolutely loved stitching this, and I didn't follow along with the stitch along very well for it either, but I just actually wanted to finish up a few of my WIPs, and in order to do that, I spent about an hour a night, most nights, not even every night. Sometimes more, you know, if I could, but about an hour a night for about 2 weeks, and I finished stitching it. So it's amazing how just a little bit of time will get you to the final result, which is awesome. Okay, so those were like finishes from the last few months. Normally we won't be doing that. I'll try to just share current finishes when I do this, but I wanted to kind of share my journey here in my first Flosstube video. I'm going to talk about my Stitch Mania. So for Stitch Mania, I chose to just do 4, let me grab them, 4 projects. And one of them I switched midway through. So maybe we'll talk about that one first. I want to show this. I bought this back in 2017. So about the time I finished my little flag, I saw this, and this is from Hands On Design. and I loved it. So this is beautiful, but you actually can buy this, and then you can buy all the individual charts, and it's going to make this big piece. It was like a monthly stitch along, I think, when this came out, and I believe it says 2016. I think I bought all of this in 2017. The stitch along was over, but I bought the entire thing. I bought the fabric. I bought the thread. I bought everything. I started well, when I pulled it out, I had like 8 stitches in it. I hadn't even really, I think I knew I didn't like the fabric right away. And then I tried to, when I started this, back when I bought it in 2017. And then I tried here at the end of April, I really started stitching a lot of this, and then I tried to stitch some here in May. And so here's what I got, but I literally pulled out more than I stitched. I don't like I don't like stitching on the fabric. The fabric's beautiful. I believe it's 32 count gunmetal gray linen. And so I decided I'm going to switch the fabric because I really, really love this chart, and I want to stitch it because this is what it's going to be big, and I want to frame it. I want to frame it for the house, and I think it'll be beautiful. But like I said, I'm struggling with that fabric. So I want a similar chalkboard type look, and I haven't started stitching. It's on the slate for this weekend. I did not intend to start over for Stitch Mania, but don't be afraid. It's totally okay to change your mind. And I thought, instead of being aggravated, I didn't want to pick it up. I want to stitch it so bad, but I don't want to pick it up because stitching on that fabric, I should mention, I stitch in hand, but I grabbed a hoop. I have hoops from back in the day, and I was using a hoop. That did help, but I still don't like stitching on it. So I picked up some 28 count chalkboard fabric, and I had to get a pretty big piece, and it was a little bit hard to find a big piece, but I ordered from 123 Stitch, and I got a big enough piece. Use that calculator on Fat Quarter Shop. It told me exactly how big to cut my fabric. I cut it down last night. You can see I even put my my thread in here in the center because the chart does suggest stitching the center design first. I really want to stitch the border, but I'm going to stitch the center design first. So I'm going to get a good start on that. I hope to start this evening, and I will share my progress. This obviously is going to be an ongoing project for quite some time, but again, it's the Squareology Moment in Chalk by Hands On Design. And then I'm just showing this one because it has the finished chart. Let me see if I can move my fingers so you can see that finished design here. There, that's better. And I love it. I just think it's so beautiful. These individual charts are going to be a breeze to stitch. And really, I don't think that the center design, I mean, yes, that's a lot of stitching, but it's a lot of text. I love stitching text. I think it goes really fast. I think the big thing is making sure you don't get off on the border. And so I'm going to follow the instructions that say stitch this center part first. I'm excited about restarting it. I think it'll be good. I do need to make sure that I'm stitching with a good light because on the dark fabric, it is hard. And I know several of you mentioned that when I posted I was doing a different fabric. You posted on Instagram or Facebook and said, make sure you're using good light. I may even try to do that as my early morning stitch on the weekends because I have it slated for weekend stitching. So sitting at my kitchen table where I get the good morning light and stitching for an hour on the weekends. That's kind of my plan right now for success. Okay, next up, for Stitch Mania, Fat Quarter Shop is doing, it's a paid for chart. Again, it's the Summer Home Stitch Along, and this was part 3. And I did purchase the fabric and the floss. I even got the little storage bag. I will talk about my how I'm storing everything currently, but I did buy the little bag, and these are the classic Color Works floss colors. I love the colors for that. And I'll show you my progress. Whoops. I did get this all stitched yesterday while I was icing my knee. So I am current. What? Who am I? But I think it's really, really cute. I do think I'm probably going to turn this into a little pillow, and I think I'm going to use it to decorate in here. I'm hoping, if my knee cooperates, I've kind of got almost everything in my studio cleaned up, and I'll be filming my studio tour that everyone from my paper crafting community has been asking for. But I think this is cute, and I think it'll be cute as decor in here. I love the colors. I love the aqua. So this is my other Stitch Mania. I have 4, so that's 2 of them. And it's called Summer Home, and I will link to that. And then something else I restarted. I hardly ever do this, but I have decided life's too short to stitch something you don't like, or that you're not loving. I shouldn't say I don't like, that you're not loving. I am doing the Heartfelt Stitch Along and Quilt Along from Fat Quarter Shop, and this is a completely free pattern. They do ask for a donation to Make-A-Wish for the use of their patterns, and it's kind of just a delight to be able to donate to something for that. And they always provide such great kits and things like that that you can purchase to use with their free patterns. I just think it's really awesome that they do that. And I am doing both. I am way behind in both, but I will be sharing my block progress and all of that when I get to my quilting. But this is the Stitch Along, and I did buy it. I bought all of the floss and everything, and I started stitching, and I decided I didn't love it. I just don't really see. I think what it is I don't like the green, and I could have just swapped out the green in the chart, but ultimately I got inspired, and so I had enough fabric left. I just set the other aside, and I'm going to do mine in patriotic colors. I completely switched. I did only stitch one little section here, and you can see I've got some more to do. I didn't really pick it up much this week, just a little bit this morning, but I am going to do it all in patriotic. It's stitching really fast. So I think if I just sit down and like I did with the Autumn Beauty, if I would just do about an hour, I'll have this stitched in no time. I am going to make this into a little pillow, patriotic pillow. I think it'll add to my patriotic decor. I'm all about the patriotic decor right now. So that is the Heartfelt Stitch Along from Fat Quarter Shop. That is my Stitch Mania 3. And I'm literally using 4 colors. I think 3 are Aura Floss colors and 1's DMC. I had them. I didn't buy anything extra special. Because I decided to switch, partway through, I thought, I'm not buying anything. Let's see what I have. And that's what I did. I use these project bags from Simon Says Stamp. I have them. They have the cute little paw print. I have tons of these, and they work great. So I'm going to show you really quick. I can slip my pattern and my fabric and all of the supplies in just like this, and then I can just pick up one and go. This works great for me. I've kitted a whole bunch of stuff that I'm planning on working on when these are done, or when I feel like it, whatever, when Stitch Mania is over. But this is how I keep my projects. I can kind of see through them, and it works really fantastic. And I will link to those too if you're interested. I do have a big basket, like a rope basket from Target that they fit in, which is really nice because it just kind of goes under my end table and it looks nice, and I can just pull it out and pull out the project I want to work on that evening. Okay, so my last project for Stitch Mania was a new start, and it is one that I am loving. Like, I would stitch on it every day, and I have most of this week. So this is a pattern from Primrose Cottage called Hive Rules. There is a bonus chart that comes with this that I'm planning on stitching as well. You can see it's a really long chart. You could stitch just portions of it. You don't have to stitch the whole thing. I'm going to stitch the whole thing. I'm really excited about it. I think it's so super cute. And here is my progress. This is how much I've gotten stitched since I started this here in May during Stitch Mania. I love it. The colors are easy. It's all DMC. I'm stitching on 25 count Lugana, which I've never stitched on before, so 2/2, and it's a breeze. I love, love, love it. So I'm really excited about this. Again, I have my little project bag. Hold on. I can't show. I have more bee patterns in here from Primrose Cottage. I'll show you the bonus chart. Let me just fold it down here. This is the little bonus chart, and I'm going to stitch that, and I think I'll turn it into a little pillow to decorate. I'm really, really excited. So that's that. Let me show you the other bee patterns I purchased from Primrose Cottage because I love all of their bee stuff. So I also got this one, Bumblebee Kisses. I think it's cute. And I put all of these in the same bag. I'm not stitching all of them. I'm gonna stitch one at a time. And then there was the ABC chart. And that's gonna be a super fast stitch as well. But I wanna do all of these, kind of do a little vignette in my kitchen. Really excited about that. And I'll show you that little project bag as well. So obviously I used to cross stitch a lot, and so here's I used my little yellow Simon Says stamp bag. I pulled old floss that I had. If I had the color, I just pulled it, and then I picked up any of the colors that I needed, and I just keep everything in my little bag. So that is my Stitch Mania. I do have some projects kitted and things. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about that. So the first thing is I'm started to kit this, and this is going to be this year's Fat Quarter Shop Mystery Stitch Along and Quilt Along. I haven't decided if I'll do the Quilt Along or not. I'm going to see what the first pattern looks like. Regardless, I'm not going to buy the kit. There's purple in it, and while all my card making friends are going to be like, Nicole, you've decided you like purple. I do. I just don't want to decorate with purple. So for my Halloween decorations, I'm a orange black kind of girl. And so this also had purple fabric, and I really didn't know if I would do this stitch along, but Kimberly showed in her live stream, I want to say last Wednesday, I think. She's using a different fabric, and so I bought it. It's gray, and she's going to take the purple out. So I didn't buy the floss kit either. I bought the flosses individually. I think, let me see what they're using. Classic Color Works. So it's going to be the variegated thread, but this is, am I still recording? My screen went off, sorry. 16 count Spooky Hollow Ada. And I thought it would be really pretty. For me, this is going to match my decor better than purple. So that's why I chose to do this. I'm sure that the example, the little brief little sneak they showed is so cute, but I just don't love it. So this is, I'll link to this. You can buy the supplies they have, like the floss kit and stuff, if you're interested. I love stitch alongs. They kind of keep me motivated. I love decorating for Halloween, so I'm excited for this to start this summer. I started my project bag for it, and I did have one floss left over from, I bet it's from Autumn Beauties or from the Bats and Booze, and so I pulled it from my stash and I stuck it in here, but I do have haul with floss for this. So that is that project bag. Okay, next, I bought a couple of Stitching with the Housewives patterns because I love them. I'm not going to start them soon because these are more Eastery, springy, so obviously not right this moment. I got Bunny Bakery and Carrot Cake. Whoops. And I love them. Now, I'm not going to stitch on black. Somebody in their Facebook group stitched on a beautiful, like, I want to say it's called spring something when I pull out my haul here in a minute because the fabric's in there, so I need to put it in my bag. I will use that. I pulled some of, oh, whoops, pattern. I pulled some of the floss that I had in my stash, the colors, but I bought the rest and I will just tuck them in here. I like to just kind of kit everything together, so when I feel like starting a project, I can. So that is my Stitching with the Housewives that I'm excited for. And then, let's see. This was another bumblebee bee project. This is a Cherry Hill Stitchery pattern. Some of them I bought more sheet protectors. I have a binder that I'm keeping my patterns, especially if they were downloadable in. And I wanted to stitch this. It's going to be another little pillow. I think it'll be cute with the Primrose Cottage ones. So I already kitted this. I think it called for DMC. I already have it in here. I didn't pick a fabric yet. I'll do that later. So it's a partial kit. And then I do want to show, not this month, but I'm sure, I think in June I'm going to start this where I stitch like a Fall Friday. I know some stitchers do that. I love this. I love fall most of all. The colors in it are so my jam. I love fall. And this is a Cherry Hill Stitchery as well. And then pumpkin spice and everything nice. And I thought that was beautiful. So I went ahead. I did buy the floss for that. And I think I might have bought fabric too, you guys. I think it might be in my haul. Or I have some. I have some in my stash. So I just kitted these together because I'm going to use the same colors for both. Even if they don't exactly have the same colors on the chart, I'm going to use the same colors for both of those. And then I know in the past years, Fat Quarter Shop has done Jolly July, which is something Kimberly does where you stitch Christmas in July. And I'm going to participate in July for that. And I've kitted 3 projects. I think I have a 4th, but I think I didn't bring it in here. So I'll share that when we get to Jolly July. But I'm going to show you what I've kitted so far. So Stitching with the Housewives has this Jingle Bell Cafe. I probably should have taken it out of the plastic. There we go. There we go. It is so cute. So I'm going to stitch that. I have my fabric, and then in my haul I have the floss for this. And I'm really excited for that. I have an idea how I want to finish it, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there and how long it takes me. So that's one that I'm going to do for Jolly July. Another one is a Cherry Hill Stitchery. This is going to be, what's the name of this one? Have a Cup of Cheer. But it's the Holly Jolly Hot Cocoa Bar. I thought it was really cute. It's text. It's going to be a snap to stitch. And I thought that one was really cute. I bought all the threads for that. I also used my little red for Christmas. I need to get another one, I guess, for my Stitching with the Housewives pattern. And then this was actually, I got this bag from Fat Quarter Shop when I stitched all the trimmings. One of my finishes I shared with you. And I bought this. This was in their Stitch Quarterly last year, but I thought that little Rudolph was so cute. And so I'm going to stitch this into a little pillow. And that I'm going to also do that for Jolly July. Already got my threads and my little project bag ready to go. So those are kitted projects. Let me see if I've kind of hit all of the things I wanted to talk about. I'm going to show you a little haul. It's mostly thread and things. Other than the large piece of fabric for my hands-on design Moment in Chalk that I got from 123 Stitch, I think most everything else was from Fat Quarter Shop. I did buy a stitch gauge just to help me with some size and things, and then lots and lots of floss haul. I need to divide all of this up with the projects it goes with. More. I like to have the floss in the bag. Floss is one of the most inexpensive things for the project. And if I have the floss in the bag, it's so much easier for me to pick it up and start than having to search. So I have floss. I have been wanting one of these floss fairy wands when you have to unpick, because we all have to unpick at some time. This helps kind of remove some of those little threads. I've seen Kimberly use it in the live stream, so I picked one of those up. And then I know you're not supposed to lick the ends of your thread, but I sometimes do. So I actually bought the Lori Holt thread conditioner instead to drag my strands through, to maybe help me when I do have trouble threading my needle. I do use size 26 needles, and I do have some of the Pat Carson ones. I don't think they're available anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do because I love them. So I bought that, and then I did buy some of the Lori Holt. This is her, what do they call it? This is the bias tape. I thought for finishing like little pillows or just finishing, I've loved these forever. First of all, the little spools are cute. But to finish, so I bought that, and then I bought some rickrack, and I bought it in white. I bought the small only. Oh, that's my arm with my bruise. I don't want to show you that. That's from my ivy. Some brown and orange. So very Christmas and fall. You can see. I thought the little rickrack would be cute on pillows. I'm not super embellishy. You probably noticed from the pillow I shared, I like mine a little bit plainer, but I thought that'd be cute. And then I was telling you for those Easter charts from Stitching with the Housewives, I'd seen someone use a fabric color that I love, and this was the color. It's called Stony Point. And it's almost a greenish gray, but to me it just really seemed springy. It's a 28 count Stony Point linen. So you stitch 2 over 2. I really liked it. I think I'm going to stitch them on this instead of black. So that is, I need to put that in my kit. And then I also bought, I've seen so many people use this. It's the Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart, and it looks beautiful too. I love it. This is going to be for some of those fall finishes I was talking about. And that's my haul, other than a couple of patterns and things. So as far as cross stitch goes, I think, let me find somewhere to go with that. That is it. This video is taking a lot longer than I thought to talk about all of this. I will have timestamps for all of that below. I will check in next week and talk about progress. I do hope to start maybe giving away some things here soon. So with my first video, I'm kind of finding my footing, but I am going to flip my camera around, and I'm going to talk about quilting. I'll probably show you my a couple of finished quilts here, and then I'm going to show you blocks, especially things that aren't sewn, by flipping my camera around and using my overhead camera. So just a second. Okay, so for quilting, I actually finished this last summer. This is the Camille Ross Kelly, her Thimble Blossoms pattern. This is the Stars and Stripes. It's obviously going to be way too big to show you on camera, but I finally got this bound. I've actually had it back forever. Caitlin at Knot and Thread quilted it for me. I do get all of my quilts professionally quilted on a long arm. I have quilted quilts. I don't love it. In fact, that and the binding are the two things I don't like to do. The two finishing things are the things I don't like to do. I did bind it, but I like how it looks professionally quilted. And she did this gorgeous kind of wave. I can't even remember now what the pattern is, but I can probably look it up. She does an amazing job. I just got another quilt back, and we're good. I haven't even taken it out of the bag, so I'm going to take it out of the bag on camera for you guys and show you that I got it quilted. But I did bind it. I did oh, there's some fuzz. I did some Corey Yoder's binding tutorial where she attaches it to the back and wraps it around to the front. I machine bind. I don't like hand binding at all, and I'm a huge proponent for do what you love. do what you love to finish the project. I love quilting, and I don't want the things I don't enjoy to stop me from being able to finish. And so this is my patriotic quilt. It's out in my living room. I totally love it. This background fabric, you may know when I was showing you the cross stitch pillow, it's the same line. This is a mishmash of fabrics from my stash that I used to make this quilt. I love it. I wanted it to have a beachy feel. So you can see that it's a lot of like light reds and creams and blues and navies. And I just mixed and matched a whole bunch of fabrics. It's a lot of Sweetwater, and then it's a lot of, what is this brand? I have some fat quarters here. For some reason, it's escaping me at the moment what this collection is. And of course, I suppose I don't have any selvage with the, oh, here we go. It's Liberty by My Mind's Eye. Oh, that's why I love it. It's Liberty by My Mind's Eye. And I have some little fat quarters left from that collection. I do believe it came out last year, so it may not even still be available, but that's what I use for the backing. I will show you that something I started doing was putting a quilt label in all of my quilts. So this is a label from Sweetwater. Wow. I am gonna still have to figure out my camera. Well, label, there we go. There we go. Well, you get the idea. It'll be easier with the overhead. Anyway, I've been sewing labels in, which I really like. I think it just adds a great finishing touch. This one wasn't decorative. Sometimes I try to do decorative. I cannot wait to see how my new quilt turned out. Anyway, Caitlin at Knot and Thread does an amazing job. I love her quilting. Let me just kind of move this one out of the way. This I also finished last year. It's not been quilted. It's not even finished. I need to put the borders on. And this is a fig tree pattern, but it also is very patriotic, and it kind of has that beachy feel, but it's more aqua instead of blue. And it's little. So I have a ladder in my living room that I want to put this on. Okay, and here's what I need help deciding. I originally picked a red with white polka dot border, and I'm thinking I might want to do something creamier instead. And I don't have a background fabric picked for this either. I'm having a hard time finishing this one because those are the two things I can't figure out, but it's really pretty. Like, I love, it's all Camille, Bonnie and Camille fabrics. So I think I'm almost certain, well, there's a few other patterns in here, but it's almost all Bonnie and Camille, and I've been collecting for years. I loved picking all of the fabrics for this, but I need to finish this and get this sent off to Caitlin to get quilted. Okay, so that is like my patriotic quilts, and I'm going to open up my other quilt, and then I am going to flip the camera around to show you like unfinished blocks from quilt-alongs I'm participating in. So this is the bag when you send in to Knot and Thread. You get this little bag, and then you get $5 off your next quilting. I love being able to send it in this. It works so good. So this was the Corey Yoder stitch along that ended a long time ago. I was way behind. It was the Spring Brook Blossoms. I will link to it. It was a free quilt along. I did not use her fabric. I actually used what I had in my stash. I have so much fabric, and so I've really been kind of trying to force myself to use what I have in my stash. I mean, it doesn't stop me from buying new, but I did want to use this, and I think I used mostly Allison Harris from Cluck Cluck Sew fabric. Don't know if she does fabric anymore, but I mixed and matched several of her collections, and of course this is going to have the border. It hasn't been cut off yet, but I did like rainbow flowers. So, and it's huge, so bear with me. I don't even know if you can see all of it. But really, really pretty. I will take a picture and share it. Isn't it beautiful? The quilting is so good. So I'm going to show you what I did on the back. I didn't have enough fabric. This also, I don't even know what, I don't have any idea what this is. It has like all the months of the year. I've had it forever, and my whole goal with this quilt along was not to buy anything. And because I wanted to use this, but I didn't have enough, I had extra of the fabrics I used on the front. So all of these bright colors. So I also made up this border, this flying geese border all the way around, because I didn't have enough border fabric either. So I have a rainbow flying geese border all the way around on all four sides, which I love. And on the back, I only barely didn't have enough. And so I made a rainbow that splits the design, and I put my label. I just made a little label there, and that's a Sweetwater label. So it's just this beautiful rainbow that runs all the way through the back. I love it so much. And she does such an amazing job quilting. I don't know if you can see this. This is an orange peel 2, I believe is what we decided. I let her help me decide because I find it hard to pick a quilting design. I know what I like, but she kind of, once she gets, I tell her kind of what I like, and then we discuss it after she gets the quilt. And I just love it. She quilts beautifully. And of course my quilts have dog hair in them. I tried to lint roll all of it out, but I have dogs, so it is what it is. I love it. And let's show some of the other flowers. I don't know. I just am super excited. I think this will be beautiful. I already have binding. I made scrappy binding from all of these fabrics. So that was fun opening that. I just got that back this week. I have I have that little flag quilt that I showed you, and then I have another one almost finished I need to finish up and send to her. I'm just going to set that down there. Okay, I'm going to flip the camera around. I'm going to show you a few of my quilt along. I'm behind on everything, but I do have a bunch of stuff cut, and we'll finish up. Okay, so I want to talk about Moda Blockheads 4. I actually have never sewn along before, but I decided to sew along. You can see I have a couple, these are design boards by Lori Holt, sold at Fat Quarter Shop. I love them. So I've actually cut fabric for, I think, 2 blocks that I plan on sewing this weekend. I'm behind. It's totally fine. I'm going to show you. So this is, I think these are blocks 3 and 4. They are. So these are 3 and 4. I've got things cut. You can see I'm kind of doing a red, cream, green theme. I'm going to show you the blocks that I've done. Let me move this. Really quick. So these are the blocks that I've done. This is a free stitch along by Moda, and this was block 1, which is what inspired my whole quilt. And block 2. So this is going to be a lot like the Springbrook Blossoms that I just talked to you guys about. I'm using fabric from my stash. I'm sticking to Fig Tree Quilts fabric for this. I have enough backing fabric of this cherry print that I love. I think I bought it for something else years ago. I mean, years ago. But I love it. So I'm just kind of mixing and matching from all of her collections. These are the first 2 blocks that I did. And then I'm going to sew a couple more. So I'll have some more to show you for next week. But I'm going to try to do about 2 a week until I get caught up. I know for sure I am going to be using Joanna's setting. I like how she does her setting for her quilts. And so I'm almost 100% that that's what I'll use. She is not doing all the blocks. I want to say, oh, I can't even remember. I want to say maybe 20. I don't want to say, I'll say it wrong. she's not going to do all the blocks. So whatever she does is what I'm going to do, so that my setting ends up like this. But I have plenty of her fabrics in my stash. I mean, plenty. So that is my Moda blockheads. And then, of course, this is, I think I just put both of these on here. Yeah, but I'm going to stitch these 2 blocks over the weekend, and I'm just going to kind of keep it all together. So that's the first sew along. The other sew along I'm doing is the Riley Blake sew along. And I've got more of these blocks done, but by no means all of them. I don't know what setting I'm going to use. And Riley Blake, I hope you forgive me that I used Moda fabric, but I think I said earlier that I have so much Bonnie and Camille fabric and so many fat quarters, and I honestly picked Sunday Stroll fat quarter bundle, and then I ended up mixing and matching other Bonnie and Camille fabrics, but I love it. So this block I actually redid. I did not like my first one at all, but this is the Sweetheart block. I think I'll just show you the blocks I finished first, and then I'll talk about the ones I'm going to sew. And yet again, this is a free sew along. So I've printed everything off, and then I'm kind of just keeping track that way. And I don't know if you can see, yeah, that little white on white dot. I personally love a little pattern in my background. I almost always use one. This might be my favorite block, and it's so funny. I ended up making it really scrappy, and I love, love, love it. This is the Scrappy Churn Dash, and I think they had like the same 3 patterns all the way around, but I made mine super scrappy, and I love how it turned out. That's probably my favorite one. And we have a daisy chain. Definitely a summer vibe feel to both my blockheads and my Riley Blake sew along. So this is the daisy chain. These are 10-inch finished blocks, I should mention that. And I don't know what I'm going to finish, how I finish this yet. I know they'll have several options. I redid this block too. I redid 2 of mine. Someone had shared on Instagram, I have no idea who, they did a scrappy leaf, and I loved it so much more than the way it was colored here, which is how I originally sewed this. And so I redid it, and I love it. The only thing I didn't redo was this, because I didn't need to. And I think a couple of these I kept. Or not a couple. Maybe I kept this. I can't remember my original coloring. Brody, no. Sorry, we're having a dog thinking he needs to scratch his bed. I keep saying that that one's my favorite, that one's my favorite. I do like this one too. This is the Sundial. So pretty. Playing with all these fabrics is so much fun. And then this is the Tulip block. So red and green. You can definitely see the vibe there. So here are my finished blocks. And they're so much further ahead than I am, but that's okay. That is okay. Let me pop my finished blocks back on here. And again, my goal is to just sew a couple every weekend until I get caught up. I think maybe I have 3 prepped here. We've got Garden Charm, the On Point Hourglass, and I will link to the Riley Blake sew along as well as the Blockheads sew along. If you would like to do, you could do this at any time. And then this one, this is the Lynx. So I've got all my fabric cut and ready to go for 3 blocks. I have high hopes. Okay, so I mentioned with the cross stitch that I'm doing the Heartfelt quilt along with Fat Quarter Shop, and I'm just trying to follow along, but I'm so far behind. Okay, I don't have all of my blocks. 2 of these I did not get to line up when this is the first week's blocks. So I unpicked and I need to stitch these. That's actually what I was getting ready to work on. But here are my blocks. Oh, and I do want to mention this. So this is Corey Yoder fabric, but I did not like the green fabric. I do like the green fabric. but it's a huge print that comes in the kit, and I did buy the kit. So I also have the fat quarter bundle, and I actually switched it out with a different fabric, a different green fabric, because I like the smaller print. Don't be afraid to make it your own. I did want to mention that, so I probably will have a few of those changes throughout. This was another one that didn't line up. You can see I only unpicked it part of the way. We'll fix it. But these are the first week's blocks. Again, I'm so far behind. And then these are the ones that are okay. So I got pink and red and gray. I'm going to cut all my fabric for the second week, maybe even the third month, not week. These are monthly. And put them on design boards so that I can just stitch when I have time. But we're going to finish fixing up these guys first. But I did want to mention that if you're interested at all. Let's see. I'll just show you this part. This is what the finished quilt will look like. It's just really pretty. I think it'll be pretty to have out for Valentine's Day. So, again, free quilt along at Fat Quarter Shop. You can use any fabric you want. I loved this collection, and so I just opted to buy the kit. I normally don't. You might notice that I use a lot. When I do a sew along, I usually use stuff I have, but for that I did buy the kit. And then I did want to show, because I've been doing so many patriotic projects, this is a little flag pattern that I downloaded off of Etsy. I will link to it. I have this fabric here to cover this up. This is actually going to be, that's another one of that My Mind's Eye fabric that I'm going to use for my backing. But you may notice, I'm just going to move my pattern out of the way. Also, this is for a little mini. It's not for a pillow. I kind of came up with my own little plan to make a little, I think it's going to be a 16-inch pillow if I'm not mistaken. We're only going to do a 3x3, and then I'll have some little borders and stuff here. But don't be afraid to take a pattern and make it your own. This is just going to be a little patriotic pillow that's going to match my Stars and Stripes quilt. So on my design board here, you can see I've got all my little extra pieces of fabric, and I have my flags laid out. This will be a super quick sew, so I hope I get to that this week, and I'll share that as I finish as well. So that is, I do have a couple of other things, but this is kind of mostly what I've been working on. Next week I will share if I get anything else finished or shipped off, or get it ready to be shipped off. But thank you for joining me for my quilting progress. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate it so very much. I would love it if you would like and subscribe. Definitely leave me a comment. Tell me what you're stitching, what you're quilting. I would love to hear. This is just going to be something fun that I do for me, basically. But I had been thinking about it forever, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I love talking about stitching. I love talking about quilting. I love talking about fabric. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will be back next week to share my stitching and quilting progress. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new video. Thank you again for joining me today for Flosstube, and we'll see you again next time.